Make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay, now, having gone through all of this, tell me, what is it that you are interested in improving in your organization?
Well, the efficiency.
Okay, can you be a little more specific?
Well, in some areas they take too long time to get things done.
Which areas?
That's mainly in the programming section.
Anything else?
Yeah, in sales there's been a slack, and that should improve again.
Okay, anything else?
Well, in my own office here, there's things lying around, and I'm kind of behind, so that's not as efficient as it could be.
Right, okay,
Answering emails as well.
okay. All right. That's about it?
Yep.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for telling me this. And there's a good chance that I can help you. Yeah. Let me give you a little bit of an understanding of what's behind all of this, right? And how this all falls together. In order to do this, I first have to tell you about this thing that we run into. And when we first run into it, we try to name it. We try to give it a hip name, something techy, kind of a thing. Well, I think we failed, because we ended up calling it the yogurt cup syndrome. It's not a very techy name, but it's so off the wall that people don't forget it once we tell them. Right? Let me explain what that means. In an ideal world, an ideal organization would work this way. There would be tasks coming into the organization. Each one of the tasks would get processed and would come out on the other side. Now, the processing may not be linear, it may be going through the organization, but for the purpose of the demonstration, I'm just going to put it in lines like this. Okay, can you see that? Okay. An organization like this, where everything flows, there are no barriers within the organization that stop things or things get lost in some holes, what have you. That organization will grow because it flows. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's now take a look at the real world. Okay. In the real world, this is what happens. You have the organization here, and you have the task coming in, and the first task actually gets picked up, gets processed, and moves on out. The second task, the same way, and then the third task, you pick it up and it goes this way. And it lands on a pile over there, over there, over there, over there, somewhere, right? And at that moment, you have given it a new designation. And that is, I'll do that one later, right? and it kind of wanders, either somewhere on the desk, on the chair, on the floor, somewhere. And at that moment, the yogurt cup syndrome takes effect. Here's what we mean by that. Here's a young woman that loves yogurt. Dennon fruit at the bottom. And she works close to a park. So in her lunch break, she takes a yogurt cup, a plastic spoon, and she takes a walk in the park. She's eating her yogurt. Now she's done. Well, she's looking around. The trash can that used to be there is gone. There isn't any other one. She doesn't want to carry this around with her, so what does she do? Could be a man, by the way. Doesn't have to be a woman. I'm just using it in this example. She looks around again, nobody can see her, and she throws it behind the bush. And she walks on. A week later, she walks through the park again. She comes past the bush. She goes, well, let's take a look to see if somebody took care of this. So what does she find? Not only does she find her plastic spoon and yogurt cup still there, but now it has been joined by a McDonald's bag, a Burger King tray, a Dr. Pepper, and a Coke can. Right? Similar tasks attract each other. A month later, there's a tire. Yeah, and 3 months down the road, there's a couch. You've seen it, right? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Once you start putting one piece of paper down, guaranteed there will be more pieces of paper that will get piled on top of it, and when that pile gets too high, you start a second pile. Isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Right. This right here has some very negative effects. More than one. And I'll just talk about two of them. Okay? Let's take a look at this. Every time you pick up a piece of paper and you don't process it and you put it back down somewhere again, a little bit of your attention is now stuck on that piece of paper. It's just a tiny little bit. That's how the mind works. But the mind works like a computer works like a mind. So let's look at the computer. A computer has something called random access memory. You familiar with that? Okay?
Sure.
Yeah? And each time you open up a file, each time you open up a program, some of that random access memory, or RAM, is being taken. And the more files you open without closing any, the less RAM you have, until you get to the point where you have this tiny little bit of RAM left, at which moment your computer slows down, makes mistakes, and or crashes. True? The same thing with us. We don't have attention deficit disorder. That's an invented disease that is used to sell drugs for and with. But what we do have is we have too many files open. And we need to be able to close some of those files. And the more files we're able to close, the more of our attention and our ability to focus increases and multiplies. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Okay. So that is one effect that happens. And there's a second one, and that one is even more insidious because it's not visible right away. This one happens 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road. It doesn't happen right away. And because all this time is involved in it, we do not connect the dots. But what happens is this. Our business, our ability to get new business into our store stagnates. It gets harder and harder to get new business in. And you look, I don't understand, I have to work so hard to get new business, what's going on? Well, what's going on very simply is this. This is blocking the flow in your business. This may as well be a concrete wall. And the only way to address this is by handling it. By processing everything that's inside, that's part of this pile. The pieces of paper either have to be thrown out, they have to be filed, or if there's actions that need to happen, the action has to be done. And only when that's done, right, and that includes the computer too, right? And the reason for having laid this aside in the first place is also addressed. When all that is done, this is what happens over here. Like magic. The amount of business, even though you're not increasing your advertising, multiplies. It's almost like magic, but it happens every single time. Every single time I've done this, this is what happened. Can you see that? Okay. So this is the one part. Now, to show you the overall on how we and what we do, let's do this. So let's say this is the now, right now, present time. Then to the right we would have the future, and to the left we would have the past. I'm going to turn this around for a moment. Can you see this? Yeah? Make sense? Okay. Well, where you want to be is here, right now, in the present time. And what you want to do is you want to focus on creating your future. Isn't that correct? Right?
Yeah.
But that focus is being distracted by things that are hanging around from the past.